Yeah, you brought up two awesome points. First of all, the social media aspect of books and basically anything. It's like, it's such a weird way to display your life because it's, you're displaying the best aspects of your life in some sort of a glass case. It's an unrealistic version of your life that you cultivate and you curate.
And I'm as guilty of that as anybody.
Everybody's guilty of it. I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah,
I pose with my dog every time I run.
Yeah, we're always signaling.
Yes.
Right? It's like rather than really looking at yourself, you're looking at how other people look at you. So it's like this one removed mental image. And it's kind of a disease because social media is making celebrities of all of us, and celebrities are the most miserable people in the world, right? Because they have this strong self-image that gets built up. It gets built up by compliments. Every time somebody pays you or me a compliment and we're like, oh, well, thank you, right? Then that builds up an image of who we are. And then one idiot comes along, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 100, and they can easily tear it down. Because it doesn't take many insults to cancel out a lot of compliments. And now you're carrying around this big, weighty self-image, and it's just very easy to be attacked. And because you're famous or you're well-known, people want to attack you. So being a celebrity is no good. It's actually a problem. One of my tweets is, and these are all reminders to myself, is you want to be rich and anonymous, not poor and famous. Right?
There's benefits to it.
Of course.
But
we wouldn't do it.
It has unusual problems that you don't get trained for, and you really will not understand unless you experience it. I was having this conversation with my wife. We were talking about people that just come up to you, and they don't care what you're doing. They don't care if I'm with my daughter, if I'm holding her, if I'm feeding her, if we're in the middle of an intense conversation. She's crying. She could be crying, and some bro will come over and just immediately have to take a picture, doesn't care. His needs supersede the daughter. And my wife was saying that before she knew me, she used to think that that's just part of the price of being famous, that people like you, that's just part of the price of being famous. And now when it interrupts her life and, it interrupts the children and it interrupts friends and, she's like, this is annoying. Like, this is not healthy. This is not a smart way to interact with people, and that people have this weird challenge, this weird thing that if you become famous, there's this weird challenge where people just want to come to you, especially today, because if they can get a photo of you, then that boosts their social media profile. Like, hey, I'm sitting here with Naval. Look at that smile. Hey, man.
Anonymity is a privilege. On the other hand, it's self-inflicted. I mean, we brought it on ourselves.
Yeah, I don't think we knew what it was, though.
We did, but we carry on. So it tells us we are getting something out of it. So, there are times when someone will approach me in public and I'm a little resentful. And there are other times when I'm just like, actually, I'm really grateful that, I worked for this. I got this.
Right.
This is the payoff. Just embrace it, smile, grin and bear it, meet
But
someone.
you have a different sort of celebrity, too, right? You're a hero amongst investors and amongst, you've just been
a hero among young male geeks. Those
are some of my favorite people.
Right, but that's not the kind of celebrity I think most people set out to get, especially most guys, right? You want the cute females.
Yeah, you want chicks.
Yeah. I look at my brief little YouTube clips. I have a tiny little podcast going now, and it's like 95% male.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, this is very highly
18 to 35. Right?
Yeah, what is the numbers? It's in the 90s.
Yeah.
You do that one very small podcast where you just have small, like 3 or 4 minute clips.
Yeah, so what it was, I did a tweet storm called How to Get Rich Without Getting Lucky, and it got pretty popular on Twitter. And it's really about wealth creation. I just used a clickbaity title. And it's trying to basically lay out timeless principles of wealth creation that if you absorb them, you become the kind of person who can create wealth, create business, make money. And my theory behind that is there are 3 things everybody wants. There's actually more than 3, but let's just start with 3. The 3 basics. Everybody wants to be wealthy. Everybody wants to be happy, and everybody wants to be fit. And I know there's a lot of virtue signaling that goes on, like we don't want money and, I don't care about being happy, and happiness is for stupid people. But let's face it, you want to be rich and happy and healthy.
Yeah.
That's the trifecta. Now, of course, you also want an internally calm state of mind. You want a loving household. So there are other things that come into it. But those 3, I think they can actually be taught. Right? And a fitness, I'm not going to teach. There are a lot of people who you've had on here, including yourself, who know a heck of a lot more about fitness and health than I do. But I was born poor and miserable, and I'm now pretty well off, and I'm very happy. And I worked at those, and so I've learned a few things. There are some principles, and so I try to lay them out, but in a timeless manner where you can kind of figure it out yourself. Because at the end of the day, I can't really teach anything. I can only inspire you and maybe give you a few hooks so you can remember things when they happen, or put a name to them. So this podcast actually ended up explaining this tweet storm. So there's a tweet storm with like 36, 38 tweets, got very famous, got translated into dozens of languages. And these were principles that I came up with for myself when I was really young, around 13, 14. And I've been carrying them in my head for 30 years. And I've been sort of living them. And over time, I just realized, like, sadly or fortunately, the thing that I got really good at was looking at businesses and figuring out the point of maximum leverage to actually create wealth and capture some of that. And do it in a very long-term kind of way, not the, banker, crash the economy, get bailed out kind of way, but, build businesses and help people and provide value kind of way, especially when applied to modern technology and leverage in this age of infinite leverage that we live in. So the podcast is just explaining each tweet. So these are little 3, 4, 5-minute snippets. I don't like to say the same thing twice. I don't like to explain in detail. I feel like if you have something original and interesting to say, you should say it. Otherwise, it's probably been said better. So that podcast tries to be information dense. It tries to be very concise. It tries to be high impact. It tries to be timeless. And it has all the information. I think you need the principles that if you absorb these and you work hard over 10 years, you'll get what you want. So I've got the one on wealth creation. I'm going to attempt to do one on happiness is a big word, but happiness and inner peace and calm and all that. Because what you want is, you don't want to be the guy who succeeds in life while being high-strung, high-stress, and unhappy and leaving a trail of emotional wreckage with you and your loved ones.
Which is more common than not.
Because you got to focus, and it's very hard to be great at everything. You want to be the guy or the gal who gets there calmly, quietly, without struggle. You want to be the person who's when there's a crisis going on, you want to be the calmest, coolest cucumber in the room who still also figures out the correct answer.